Greetings, family, greetings, African Buzz family. Today we are going to talk about something different. Maybe we've never talked about Equatorial Guinea unless that only that time we talked about the son of the president, who is
Grandma.
also the vice president, who went to spend to make it rain in New York
It's a time like this
last
one. Yeah.
20 years. And now this time we are seeing Equatorial Guinea fighting with Gabon at the International Court of Justice because they are fighting over some small island called Baney, which has a lot of oil reserves. You know, Gabon is one of the world's biggest producers of oil, and there's this offshore, off the shore, like in the ocean, oil reserves, and that island of Baney has a lot of it. So both nations have brought the matter to the United Nations top court to resolve a dispute over the island of Baney, which is less than a kilometer long and lies off the Gabon's coast in the oil-rich waters. Equatorial Guinea says Gabon's possession is factually and legally untenable. This conflict started in 1972 when Gabon expelled Equatorial Guinean soldiers from Bani and has kept a military presence there since. Interest in the island reignited in early 2000s due to potential oil reserves. In 2017, both nations agreed to let the ICJ resolve the dispute. Equatorial Guinea cites a 1900 convention dividing French and Spanish colonial assets. While Gabon refers to a 1974 agreement that Equatorial Guinea claims is unsigned and unauthentic. So the hearings are continuing this week, and today we will be seeing Gabon presenting its arguments. So it's crazy because that is what colonialism did to us, and we are still colonized because if we cannot come together, those are two countries which are neighbor countries. They are fighting over an
For an
island.
island. And you'll find this people from this country and that country, that same
In
island.
that
They are the
island.
same people.
It's 1
And now you
kilometer
are
long.
fighting.
It's just a kilometer long, less than a kilometer actually. So it's a very small island, but because it has oil, I'm sure their masters are pushing them.
We need that.
Equatorial Guinea, go and fight. And the other one is from the French, Gabon, Guinea. Go and fight over it. Because they are the people who are going to benefit. Otherwise, we don't need to be fighting over borders. But why do we keep fighting over my Africa borders?
It's land. It's an African curse, if I may call it that way. I think we are just cursed to keep on fighting for land for generations and generations. Because why is it that even at the lowest level in an African homestead or setup, you'll find brothers fighting for land, even if it's just, you have moved your fence 1 centimeter into my land. People would even kill. People would go to witches and kill you just for that. So if you are seeing it at a bigger scale, now it shows you that we have a big problem in Africa, the land problem. And as long as we see ourselves divided, we see ourselves, I'm South African, you're Nigerian, I'm Zambian, and whatever, that will always make us fight amongst each other. Because if we just looked at ourselves as human beings living in one big continent, nobody would care who's living on that side of the continent. What does that continent have? Because that island could be benefiting both countries.
Exactly.
It should be an island that is open for everybody in Africa who wants to go and use it and whatever. If there's oil, it should be helping and benefiting the people of both countries. Why should I want to own it for myself? Am I God? Am I the one who created it? You found it there. You came. You found Mzungu saying you belong to this side of the map. You belong to that other side. Now you are using those spaces to say the French have this law that they came up with, I don't know, in 1970. These ones come.
1900.
Who are these people
1900,
in our own continent bringing in laws to divide us, to say, this says this island belongs to you? They even put their own soldiers, and it doesn't make sense. And until we wake up as an African people to say, we are done, we are over this fighting. I'm loving what I'm seeing in Kenya. Young people are over tribalism. Young people don't even care which tribe you come from. We are fighting for some things that make sense. Politics, kind of governance in our country. We don't care who's governing us, as long as it's governing us in a good way, That is the kind of fight that we should be fighting. Gabon, the French, are the ones who told us it's our
And
Hey,
the biggest problem is you don't know what you want because you're being controlled. But
it's not even them who
I
want
wish,
it.
I wish there would be a time in Africa where we not care about, countries, because this is a very bad way of calling ourselves. Because if you go to Germany, the original people of Germany will say, "I'm German. That is my tribe. I speak German." But when you come to, maybe if you go to a country like Mali, you find a micronation called Fulani, another micronation called, like, we have been bundled up into one country when we were supposed to be many, many, many micronations governing ourselves. Then we call ourselves Africa. That would have been better. But now I am a micronation A or tribe A or ethnic A, and my brother of the same ethnic group in
Another
Gabon
country.
is the military. There's an example. Kenya sometimes back in the Lake Nyanza, currently called Lake Victoria. There's an island, a very small island. Actually, it's a rock called Migingo. And the stories have it that around it, the water is very rich in fish. So Kenya and Uganda was fighting over it. Made headlines in our newspapers and TVs and all that. And people were like, "What? Can the army go and fight over this rock?" But eventually the president just sat down and said, "This is nonsense. Let us just let our people."
It's food, it's
Because
fish. Just let them eat.
because it's fish, you go home. You fish, you go home. Okay, it's closer to Kenya. So Kenya was saying it's my island. Or but because of fish, we are fighting over it. Now they live like brothers and sisters in the island.
Yeah, and I'll still go back to the fact that we were cursed. Land curse is something very huge in Africa.
Yeah.
And until maybe we go back to our roots, understanding our culture and maybe finding out how these things were dealt with culturally, that is the only time where
I would
fight will
say,
stop.
let this land be demarcated by, not by nations, not by countries, but by ethnic. And what I mean is that, a Maasai can move from Kenya to Tanzania without the requirement of anything. Do you know when you do that, you open up Africa to you? It means that if I'm a Luo, I can live in Uganda and I can live in
No,
Tanzania and in Kenya.
I'm talking about the small island. If you say we are demarcating it by the ethnic, I don't know.
You see, for example, Mikingo Island, if you say, let us give it to the ethnic, it becomes a Luo thing because it belongs to Luo Uganda, Luo Kenya. You see that island, you find that the people living there belong to one ethnic group. The people,
but divided into the two
yeah,
countries.
the people fighting over it is the country. The people these things that were created by that person who colonized them. But going down, you find it's the same people living there. They don't fight over it.
No.
But if you say this wealth will be maybe 10% will go to this country, 10% to this country, but 80% will remain with the micronation. They will develop their area and all that. It will be that. It's even better. Because if you say this percent will go to, it won't benefit the people of that ethnic group living that. It will go away. But they can fight over it and say it's ours. It remains in this island.
And you'll find they have already gotten children with the same guys from Gabon, the same guys. Now you want to divide them again in their own small island.
It doesn't make sense. Africa should be one, borderless, like Malema always say and Wodema. Borderless. No visa, no passport, no nothing. Just an ID. Guys, if you'd like to support us, we are selling Fulani hats. Beautiful hats, you've seen them. Every day you are seeing them just for $50. Go to our website, our online market, Elegant Masai. Link is in the description. You can reach us out on this number on your screen if you are unable to buy it online. And also, if you'd like to support us by buying us coffee for just $5, link is on your screen and on the description. And also you can like, share this video. When you share, you are supporting us. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and we see you in the next video. Bye bye.